This is my lab environment. I have multiple rack mount servers. I run ESXi on all of them. So I started my journey to migrate from ESXi from about half a year ago. It was a long journey. I tried multiple VM systems, even picked 2 of them and made 2 videos. But my procrastination was running out of control, so I didn't make any progress in the recent several months. So in the past weekend, I decided to finally move away from ESXi. I finished all the rack mount servers in one day. So this video is to summarize what I did, what I like, and what I don't like. These are the servers. I have a 8-port KVM and 8 rack mount servers. 3 very old Dell R610, 2 Dell R730, 2 1U Supermicros, and a 2U Supermicro. Because the servers have different generations of CPU, I had to run different versions of ESXi on them. For the 3 old R610, I ran ESXi 6. For the 2 relatively new R730, I ran ESXi 7. For the 2 most recent 1U Supermicro, I ran 8. Even though they are all ESXi, it is still annoying to maintain 3 different versions. By the way, for the 2U Supermicro, I still run ESXi 6 on it, but the main purpose is to run TrueNAS. So TrueNAS is just one of the virtual machines. It manages all the pass-through hard drives. In the right side, you can see after the migration, I ran all of them using the same version of Proxmox, which is 8.2. And for the 2U Supermicro, I decided to run dedicated TrueNAS instead of using virtual machine. It's the same TrueNAS scale, but run on the real hardware instead of virtualizing. Let me talk about the 3 main troubles during the migration. First, to boot from NVMe. Unfortunately, all of the 8 servers do not support directly booting from NVMe. In the past, when I use ESXi, it's not a problem at all because I can install ESXi on a USB thumb drive, then boot from the thumb drive. But for Proxmox, because it writes frequently to the boot drive, it's not smart and it's not supported to directly boot from a thumb drive. So I lost that option. Yes, I know the trick to install a bootloader on the thumb drive so that you can indirectly boot from NVMe. But I don't want to plug in 8 thumb drives to the 8 servers just for booting purpose. But I have to boot the Proxmox from something, right? It's not really a big deal for me because I have piles of useless 1 terabytes or 500 gigabytes hard drives laying around. So I simply boot from the hard drive. I don't really care about the booting speed. Then I use the NVMe for the VM storage. Okay? Move on to second trouble. It is about this 3 old Dell R610 server. I had 2 issues. First issue, the installer even cannot be started. As you can see, if I use the default graphical installation, the installation process will hang there with this highlighted error. No problem, I can switch to the terminal UI, but I got another issue. During the installation, you can see the strange error message is even talking about the CD-ROM and the file system is squash.fs. I don't have CD-ROM here. Apparently, something's wrong in the internal logic of the installation. To resolve it, I have to change the BIOS setting. Go to System Setup. For processor settings, for virtualization technology, default value is enabled. I have to change it to disabled. I know it sounds weird, but it did resolve the issue. Of course, after the Proxmox is successfully installed, you need to change it back to enabled, otherwise the performance will be bad. My third problem is about the network interface cards. More specifically, those high-speed 100 gigabits, 40 gigabits, or 25 gigabits connect-as network interface cards. So you know Proxmox is based on Debian Linux. So theoretically, it should have very good support to old new network interface cards. But it removed the support for some version of Mellanox cards, for example, ConnectX-3. So after installation of Proxmox, several of my network interface cards were not recognized. I had to download the source code from Mellanox to build it and then to configure it. There were no real challenges there. It's just it will take some time to get your card recognized by the Proxmox. Okay, so all the three issues, they took me some time, but at the end, they are not really stoppers for me to migrate to Proxmox. Now it's time to talk about what I like and what I don't like after the migration. What I like most when using Proxmox compared with ESXi is, for Proxmox, the free version, I can set up cluster. I don't really need high availability, but I do need the convenience of copying virtual machines, migrating virtual machines among multiple nodes. In ESXi, the free version, I could not do that easily. What I had to do was, from Synology NAS, I run the active backup for business. I can back up the virtual machines from all the ESXi servers. Then if I need to copy virtual machine, I will do a restore to a new location from Synology. But everything took time. It was very slow just to copy a virtual machine. But now with Proxmox, I can set up a cluster. As you can see, I have the 7 rack mount servers in the same cluster, and then I can easily indicate a virtual machine as template. I can clone it, then transfer a virtual machine among all the nodes. It's so convenient. Now let's talk about the thing I dislike the most. It may be surprising to many people. What I really miss from ESXi is its console, the remote client. Let me show you why. If you ever watched my video, you must know I am a huge fan of Tile Manager. Let me use this ESXi virtual machine as an example. I'm using the remote console, which comes from ESXi, the free version. Now it is in a random resolution, right? If I want to use the third-party tile manager, I can drag it, choose a location. It will automatically be placed to that location, and the resolution will be adjusted automatically. And if I want to use the new macOS feature for tile managing, I can also do that. For example, if I use this green button, I can choose what location I want to put the window. See, it's automatically adjusted, right? Everything works flawlessly. I really like it. But for Proxmox, let me use this virtual machine as an example. If I choose console, I have the web version, no VNC. I can also use the Spice, which is a standalone window, just like the remote console as in ESXi, right? So let me run it. So it's the first inconvenience. It simply download a .vv file. So I need to manually do something. Yes, I can program some automation in macOS to automatically launch it, but that's not what I want to complain about. In the terminal, let me run remote viewer using this just downloaded .vv file. You can see it looks so far so good, right? But if I try to move it to a tile, you can see it simply moved to the location, but it doesn't adjust the resolution automatically. It's not completely done. If I want to adjust the resolution, I can do it this way manually. Yes, it works. But if I move it to a tile, it doesn't adjust the resolution. Yes, I already installed the agent in the guest machine. That's why I can manually adjust the resolution this way, right? But it simply doesn't work with Tile Manager. And if I try to use the macOS built-in Tile Manager, I don't have a way to do that. The reason is it doesn't show the regular macOS button, the green button here, so I have no way to use the macOS Tile Manager. And even if I try to use the keyboard shortcut for macOS to move the window to a tile, it simply doesn't work. If I did anything wrong, please let me know. But this is my biggest pain after migrating to Proxmox, because I use Tile Manager all the time. To manually adjust the window size every time is a pain. Okay, this is my experience so far after 1 day migrating from ESXi to Proxmox. Of course, in the future, I may learn more lessons or I may improve it. But so far, I would say 4 out of 5. I'm pretty satisfied. Okay, thanks for watching.